We got hards on. We're going to the end.
Brum brum, brum brum. Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. You got a couple to choose from there. Take your pick. We're doing Grand Prix. We're talking about a Grand Prix. And a Grand Prix that I think you improved. It was an improvement. You know, you handed me your sort of your paper, your assignment, and I looked over it and I covered the page in red pen. I had a bunch of notes. And you addressed a couple of those things, but you've kind of went from like, you handed me the paper, it was a D. You've handed me it back now. It's like a C minus. Like it still wasn't electrifying. Let's just say I wasn't moved. And I know I'm a big enough man. I can admit this. Okay, sometimes there's good races, and I fail to see that sometimes because if my guys aren't doing well, sometimes I'm like, oh, this sucks. This is awful. Like I remember walking away from Las Vegas being like, oh, that was an alright race. It wasn't anything amazing. And since then, I've heard everyone say that was a really fun race, one of the best of the year. And I had to like go, whoa, is this like a mass gaslighting? What are people trying to do here? Is this like satire? Like, I didn't know what it was. And then I was probably like, no, it probably was interesting. But I just looked at it like it wasn't because the people I happened to root for probably didn't finish the race. But today I don't think it was. I think the main talking point was Bearman. We're going to get to that man in a minute. Which, by the way, can someone just answer me this? Oliver Bearman, they said it, and I don't have to Google this. Boy from Chelmsford, because they made that clear multiple times. His accent, though, and this happens a lot. I don't know if it's from traveling or what, from a young age when you do racing. But like Lando Norris, I mean, Lando Norris's mum's Belgian, right? As Bearman got a similar thing going on when he's in the car, or just everyone kind of just like talk like this in the car, like with like a slight accent. Like everyone kind of has like an accent for some reason. They kept saying he's the boy from Chelmsford, so I'm just gonna go ahead and believe that. But yeah, we're gonna get to Bearman in a minute. That wasn't meant to be as difficult to say as I've made it. But we've got the three sectors. We've got rate, mic, quality. Then we move into the race rundown, and then we'll go at the awards, soft, medium, hard award. And they kind of made it very clear. It felt like on the radio that Bearman's getting driver of the day before anything really had happened. Like I felt like they was gunning for that. When you do like a big vote system, you're not meant to influence the votes too much. And I could honestly say the commentary team was definitely influencing the votes. I think he would have won anyway, and by a landslide. But by the mere fact that he didn't crash into a wall, and to be fair, Lance Stroll did. But like the mere fact that he didn't was already enough for them to be like, how old is he? I was going to say sucking him off, but like I don't know how old he is. No, he's 18. But the point being that they were quick to show love to Bearman. And honestly, actually, I want to kind of get into this towards the end because I feel like you're meant to get to the end at the end. But honestly, it was such a big talking point. Let's just flip the script and talk about it now. Let's talk about it, right? Bearman, and this is a genuine question. This isn't me like putting my flag on this hill saying this is my opinion. I will die here and my mind won't be changed. What I am saying though is, am I wrong? Am I wrong that I felt like, Bearman was a little bit, he was getting a lot of love. And I'm not saying he shouldn't get love. Like, he's 18, you're getting your debut race. We don't need to be like picking apart his performances massively. But like, it felt like even he felt the same way. Like, he gets in the car, he qualifies P11, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't get to Q3. I felt like I had done a little bit of a better job." And every single person you spoke to, like interviewers, like, "Wow, we are all taken away by what you managed to achieve. It's simply amazing," you know. And we're just kind of coming at it from that angle. And I was like, "Whoa, wait, did I completely read this wrong? Is it actually more impressive than I'm giving credit for?" Genuine question, that he qualified P11 in a Ferrari, because I'm like, it's a Ferrari. It's, when a kid draws a car, he colors it red because it's Ferrari. They're pretty good. I mean, they're not Red Bull, but it's a Ferrari. And look, Ferraris are quick. If I got in one, I could get in a Boeing 747 or whatever. I don't, I'm still probably qualifying that. To be fair, I don't think that's kind of got the agile. I mean, if the race was just a drag race, I could be in, a NASA built rocket ship. I'd probably still lose. I understand you still need the ability, right? But I was just a bit like, yeah, he did well. He wasn't too far from Q3, but like, is it as amazing as they were saying? And obviously, being starting 11th, you're out of position in terms of the speed of your car. You should go forward, barring you don't crash, like Stroll. So, I expected him to get points as long as he didn't crash out. And he gets 8th. And ultimately, I think his race deserved more credit than his qualifying, really. I liked that his qualifying was messy, though, because it would have been very easy for him to have, like, clean qualifying each lap, no kind of going over, nothing like that. And then you get 11th, and it's like, you got 11th either way. But if you're, like, making mistakes, at least it's like, okay, you can see clearly you don't make that mistake, you gain a few tenths. If it's like you put in a really clean lap on the eye, and you're 11th, it's like, wow, he's pushing, he just doesn't have the pace. It's like, this kid just don't have the pace, because he didn't make any mistakes, he put in a clean lap, and he's 11th. Whereas if you're really pushing and making mistakes, it's like, okay, yeah, he's actually got something, because even making mistakes, he could still go further. You know what I mean? Do you get it? But no, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I'm trying to remind myself he's 18. At 18, what was I doing? Scratching my nutsack and dropping out. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. So it's like, look, fair play. He did well. They did get very rock hard solid. This is called hards on. They did get the hards. It wasn't just the drivers who were like, putting their hards on for this race, because Karun straight up came out and said it. He was like, fuck this, non-biased shit. I'm rooting for him. And like, look, I do like, and it's not like an underdog story, but I do like, the idea of a young guy coming in, showing himself, proving himself. But as I get older, I get bitter and I get spiteful. And I feel like there is a switch in me that's happening. As I felt like a couple of years ago, I was a little bit more like, yeah, I like the young guy coming in and sticking it to the man. And then the older I get, I'm a little bit more like, nah, I want them to get their face, rubbed in the dirt. I want them, to completely like knock them down. Like, if this Kimi kid everyone's talking about is going to be amazing, I have no reason to want him to do well or badly. But just because everyone's saying he's the next best thing since sliced Max Verstappen, I just want him to get into a category and just being like, haha, you're with the big boys now. You're with the big, and I think that just comes with age. You get bitter. You get sour. And ultimately, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if he does well. His dad's right there. His dad keeps like guilt tripping me every single time I kind of want him to not do great, because his dad's just there so desperately wanting him to like finish as high as possible. But ultimately, Norris is my guy, okay? And when I see Norris is like behind and he can catch, and ultimately P7 won't really mean a difference to Norris, really. I know my loyalty's lying. I'm like, Norris, kill him. But, fair play, Bearman stayed ahead, and I'm happy when you get one shot, miss your chance to blow. And he managed to get points in his debut. That's not easy. I already probably know the answer. I don't really need to wait to see what people say. That I'm probably just undervaluing how difficult it is to, within this short period of time, get in the car and, achieve good things. But back to the beginning of the race now, because we've done this in a little bit sort of reverse grid order. Woeful start. Nothing really bad happened, just in the sense that Max Verstappen got away cleanly, and whenever that happens, it is automatically a woeful start. Obviously, 2 seconds ahead within no time. Again, I kind of spoke about this, like my perception of if a race is good or not is like half the race actually being good or not, and then half, do my guys do well? And I like a lot of drivers on the grid at different points as well. Sometimes I like some more than others. Like Albon is a guy I like and want to do well, but I wouldn't say he's one of my guys like I really care about when they crash or don't do well. And I would say that those guys are, and I think I can come to this conclusion now from watching enough, because I would say Albon's, I want him to do well all the time and I really rate him, but he's just on the outskirts. I like Leclerc a lot. I want him to do well. I root for him a lot. But these guys are just on the outskirts of my main three. And I got to say, my main three, 2 of them specifically haven't had a great start. And one of them just lost out to his teammate today, because my main 3 are Norris, Hamilton, and Ricciardo. And, Ricciardo's only happened recently. I've always liked Ricciardo, but he's never been my main 3. And I think it's just because I just really want him to show what he once had that I never saw. And I don't like what I'm seeing happen to him, and it's just been tricky. And when you're backing these 3 people, and Ricciardo's getting slapped by Tsunoda, and Hamilton's getting slapped by Russell so far this year, and Piastri had a better weekend than Norris this weekend, and it's just like, wow, all my friends are dead. Like, it's just like, oh, this isn't great. And it's like, I'm looking through all facets, everything I enjoy: football, support Chelsea. That ain't going great for me right now. I don't really watch many other sports, but if I did, I can guarantee that team would be losing. So keep me far away. I'm turning into a bit of a Drake of myself, and in terms of curses. But to be fair, similar things happened last year with Hamilton and Russell, and a lot of things can change. You find the setup which best suits you, the performance here and there, because it feels like Hamilton's coming out in interviews a lot, coming with the whole "I don't feel right, I don't feel good." But Russell is extracting more over the two races. So it's like Hamilton specifically is struggling. Again, it felt like Ricciardo was miles off in qualifying. Ricciardo's having some kind of issue, but it's not like issues being shared by both drivers in the car. It's like only on one side, and it's worrying me because I'm really backing Ricciardo to do something. With my bitterness I was talking about before, wanting the old guy to actually prove something a little bit. It's I really want Ricciardo to show no, I am that guy. I'm not going to be just done over again by some younger generation driver like I did, like what happened to Norris. I want to come into this team and actually be the guy. And he's actually had a lot of hype on him coming into this season. And this was just bad. He qualified bad. He caught up because there was a whole shit-eating, train of just drivers, and it allowed him to catch up. But and maybe the Williams did just have a faster car, because by the end of the race, the racing balls were nowhere. Basically, there's both at the back pretty much, with just Bottas, I think, and Zhou behind them or whatever. But he caught up, and when Sargent's pulling away from him, and then he spins out towards the end, I'm just that's not great. And the only the only thing that looks better for him is that Tsunoda was only just ahead of him. Qualifying, there was a big gap there. So over a lap, clearly Tsunoda can get more from the car at the moment. But in the race, it seems like they've got a bit of a Haas situation. And I'm sorry, racing bulls, I can't help but feel catfished so far this season. I'm not seeing the pace promised to me. You guys were talking about podiums. You guys were saying that was on the cards. Now there's a lot of races this year, 24, and last year you were dog shit too, and you managed to turn that around. But I don't know, I can't help but feel you changed your name. You put, you tried to make it sound more like Red Bull, Racing Bulls. And, you kind of had, got Daniel Ricciardo, you're telling me about podiums. And now I'm watching you guys, struggle behind Sargent. And, Tsunoda getting dive bombed by Albon. And I can't help but feel like you look a little bit different than your photos. And, it's giving catfish. Anyway, but the racing balls, I'm sure they'll come good eventually, and I'm just really praying. I've got more faith in the car coming good than Ricciardo, which is a real big worry, is I don't have the belief it's gonna come good. I haven't seen it with Ricciardo enough from when I've started watching the sport, which is why it's hard to have the faith. Is it just gone? You never saw it come back with someone like Vettel, and he achieved more in the sport than Ricciardo, and that just never really came back. So it worries me that it's just a Vettel situation, and that would be sad. And I'm really hoping he can find something, because I'm watching a guy just humiliation for 2 years, for however long it was with McLaren, and now I can't go through that again. It's sad. Sorry, I'm human. I smile when I see a cute little puppy. I cry when I see that cute little puppy get hit by a car. And at the moment, I'm seeing a similar thing with Ricciardo. And, sorry. I have emotions and feelings. What else we got here? Have you... Just on, Stroll real quick. This isn't really something to talk about for long, but just, he crashed out. His whole radio. Sometimes the drivers are just assholes for no reason. On the radio, they're like, Stroll, can you... He crashes, right? He makes the mistake, and there's 7 laps in. It's not like, he just loses focus 35 laps in or something. Go you crashed the car, man. That's a lot of work for us. And they're like, hey, can you bring it back? He's like... And then the way he gets on the radio, and he just laughs, and he's like, no, I'm in the fucking wall. Just say no. Just say no, it's completely fucked. Just say, no. Just say no. Just say no, full stop. Just say I'm in the fucking wall. Why have you always got to be why are you saying this like you're annoyed at us? You crashed the car. It also had a level of just why are you laughing? Being it was so relax. Like, Nelson the fucking wild idiot. Like, that was the unsaid next word that he didn't say. The tone was the next word would have been idiot. No, it's in the fucking wild idiot, type of thing. Why are you not more mad, by the way? I'm expecting to hear the radio and you be like, fuck, shit. You'll be angry. Does Stroll still want to be here? Because Stroll, you don't have to be here. You can go ski if you want on the slope. You can go crush that fresh pal. You don't have to be here. But the radio, I feel like a lot of the radios have mellowed a little. Like, and Norris comes across as one of those drivers where he's only really into it when it's like he's at the very front. So maybe that's why. But he was kind of getting on the radio. He seemed to look a little bit more chilled. But most of all, out of everyone, is they definitely got Tsunoda. They set him down and they put him through some online, anger management classes or whatever courses. Like, from what they saw after Bahrain. Because, like, now I would see moves or things happen, the Magnussen thing come back in. I actually like that from Magnussen. That was sexy, right? But the way he came back through. But usually, like, anything even close to that, that's gonna result in a Tsunoda just explosion. And they got on the radio now and it's like, no, he overtook me, that's my place. Or like, that was really dangerous, man. Like, he kind of just like, all of a sudden, Tsunoda overnight, they Jekyll and Hyded him or something. Like, they like, I don't know what it was, but like, Tsunoda had this like relax, because shit wasn't going well. Like, he was like fighting to get past like a certain car for so long, dived in, didn't get past, then lost the position, and then kept falling back throughout the train. Then like gets overtaken. Oh, was that maybe a bit risky? And he just kept this kind of like, it's kind of like they told him, if you swear at us, if you swear at us one more time on this radio, we're just going to out and out make Ricciardo the number one driver here, and he doesn't even deserve it, type thing. Because he was just like, no, I'm chill. Super chill, super cool. I'm cool with this, I'm completely fine. And I was just like, wow. But that's just a thing he's decided on his own, but that was a different Tsunoda I saw today. Some mellowed out drivers on the radios. But what else have we got here? It was a race of, the best races are chaos. And that's why I look forward to Australia, because last year that was chaos. I think I literally titled that one chaos, because it was chaos and everyone described it as chaos. I love red flags. You love like, oh my god, this can happen. The best races to me are like Gasly winning. When just something crazy happens and, it's fun. Nothing too crazy. Nothing like George Russell on the podium in the Williams, whatever, because the race can't even start and it's just a bunch of rain. Nothing just dumb, like undeserved craziness, but like still talent, craziness, fun, overtakes, all that good shit, right? And I feel like sometimes they try and spin a race being interesting when it's like, oh, this race was really fun because you actually have to go slow. And by the leader going slow to allow the guy behind him with DRS to like keep the guys behind him behind them, like it's better. Or like, oh, this one's really clever because remember, like I think on this track a year or 2 years ago when Verstappen was at the front, I think it was 2 years ago, and like the whole thing was you would actually go slower on the final corner because then you could get the DRS and then get overtaken, stay ahead or whatever. Like it was like tactically smart, but overall watching it was just kind of like lame, and they try and flip that as a cool thing. That's what today was. Like, isn't it really cool how, like, Magnussen, whoa, great tactics from the team, to, like, just make everyone eat his ass for about 20 laps. And to be honest, it worked so well for Hulkenberg that I did actually have to, like, stand up in my own bedroom and, like, bow and, like, applaud. No, sorry, I didn't do fuck all. Why am I bowing? Applaud it because I was like, fair play. Like, he did such a good job at it. And, like, you see it so little sometimes, like, this whole, like, help your teammate thing. And you, like, work as effectively. Like, when Alonso's on the radio, I can't remember what track it is, I can see it in my mind, but I don't remember the names. And he's like, they're all going to fight like a lion. They're all going to fight like a lion for me. And it's like, they have these moments where, like, the teammate is meant to, like, do something amazing for the other teammate. And it's like, I swear, like, he says fight like a lion, and it cuts to Ocon, like, getting overtaken within a couple corners. Like, it feels like so rare when you actually have someone that they put out this plan and it just works to perfection. Magnussen, we need you to hold these people up, and it's a track where maybe you can do that. You can get off the gas a little and coast through because you can't really be overtaken anywhere Monaco style throughout certain sectors or whatever, from what I could tell or what they were trying to tell me anyway from commentary. But it just worked so well. Like he was creating the gap. Hulkenberg got out with 2 seconds clear, and then not only that, as Magnussen then drove from the distance afterwards, like, yeah, and I got the pace. And I got a pace. But yeah, like, you get certain races. This is a race of this, or this is a race of, you need this kind of skill here. And this was just a race of RC. And this was just like, he was doing that further back, and then further forward, you had Hamilton doing the same thing with Piastri, just getting frustrated behind him. It was just a race of, like, people being up other people's rear end. And only because Magnussen did it so well that I tolerated it and was like, okay, fine, that was kind of impressive and cool. Because usually when it's like Albon doing that basically all of last year, I'm like, okay, type thing. But I didn't mind it today. And ultimately, like, yeah, he was just sacrificing himself for his teammate. But like, he was like sacrificing himself for his teammate, but he didn't actually die. Like, so many times when you sacrifice yourself, it's in the name, you die for them. But this was like, I'm sacrificing myself for you, and then it worked, and then he just carried on going. Like, it was just like, fair play. And then Bearman we spoke about. So let's get into the soft, medium, hard awards. It's like, I'm only not going to give Bearman the hard awards just because I'm judging it on a scale of my personal experience watching it. And it's like, I take into account it's his first ever race, it's mightily impressive, massively impressive, whatever. Like, he gets 7th, and isn't a Ferrari's not like the worst car on the grid, but like, it's still impressive and it's good, and he's 18 and he's from England, so British boys and all that kind of stuff, right? But ultimately, if I actually look at his race, I can't remember, but did he overtake a big boy? Anyone that impressive? Or was it like Zhou, pretty much, and like Hulkenberg? You know what I mean? Those are the two overtakes I remember him doing. He did gain 4 positions. I'm pretty sure he gained, or 3. I think he gained second most on the grid, only ahead of, looks like Hulkenberg. So, look, it is impressive, but I feel like the hard would I give out to someone who had like a moment where I was like, damn, I was impressed. And like, yeah, if Magnussen didn't get 20-second time penalties, maybe I'd give it to him. But I think that the moment where I was like, with overtakes, I was like, damn, you're a driver. You get paid the big bucks for a reason, was Albon. Because that was an angry performance. That was like him getting his own medicine. Like, he's usually the one saying like, hey, taste that to all the people behind him. And today he was chewing farts and he didn't like it. And he was stuck behind people who he felt he was quicker than. But what I liked about it was he didn't just stay behind. Like, he would like send it on the inside. Like, he did it, I think, at least 2 times. Some very good overtakes. Maybe the best of the day. Maybe I really liked Magnussen's one back on Sonoda. But then like Albon, I don't know. I just felt like he deserved the hard awards just for like how it was a gritty performance. Just misses out on the points. I think got 11th. And that's like underrated, and I feel like he didn't get many flowers from what I saw. But yeah, so I'm going to give it to Albon. I'm going to give it Bearman the medium award at least, though, because I'm not that much of a hater. And ultimately, I'm happy for him. He had very like sort of, young sort of, what would you call it? Innocent kind of, just like his energy. I deserve to be here. Like, really humble and happy and polite, but at the same time deserve to be here, and like, I am the guy and I will perform and I expect more of myself, and I really like the balance there. So yeah, and I think ultimately it was a really solid performance. Didn't really put a foot wrong throughout that whole race, and it's so easy just to tap all and go off. You know what I mean? It's just that he didn't have a particular moment that made me go fuck, and you gotta have that. And then the softer wood, I gotta give it to Danny Rick, because my heart was going out to you, man. Watching that, I'm worried about Ricciardo now for this season. I am not. I just, the race, the gap was so big, and I don't know what's going on. And I didn't like the interview he gave after qualifying, where like I was hoping he would say, "Yeah, that's just an issue with all these, and we're gonna sort it out." Oh yeah, I know it. It was kind of just like, fuck, I don't know, I just don't, or fucking, I don't. Maybe we can, but I don't. So I'm just hoping it wasn't a track for them, or like the setup wasn't great overall for either driver. It's like, I don't know. But I am a little bit confident it will improve. We've got 22 races still. Australia, home. That's home for him. Down under, for him, it's just right side up. And I'm just hoping that's going to inject something in him, and sort of, he'll find something. Fuck them all, I never left. I want another moment, you know what I mean? But yeah, we will see. Because he is cinema when he's doing well. That Ricciardo is like one of the drivers you want to see do well, because they fucking eat it up. They actually make it entertaining when they win. They fucking act like it's a move in. So yeah. But yeah, this was Hazem. This was odds on for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It was better than Bahrain. If Bahrain was like a 5, maybe at best, this was like a 6.5, maybe. But hopefully, we get minimum a 7 in Australia. Hards on. We've got the hards on. We're going to the end. Thank you very much, and I'll see you. Not in Australia, but talking about it.